Hi, welcome to Storytime. I'm Miss Teresa, and today we have a special story time for you. We are reading about a special day that's coming up, Christmas. So why don't we get right into our first story called What Santa Can't Do. And there's all sorts of these books. It's a series, and there's what dads can't do, what moms can't do, what teachers can't do. But today, we're going to read all about what Santa can't do. What Santa Can't Do by Douglas Wood. There are lots of things that regular people can do, but Santa can't. He can find every house in every town, in every country. But sometimes he can't find his pipe or his slippers. Uh-oh, do you see Santa's pipe? Yep, there it is, right in his pocket. And how about his slippers? You're right, they're right there by the kitty. He can remember everybody on his list, but he can't quite remember what Mrs. Claus said to get at the grocery store. Uh-oh, Santa. And Santa can never buy enough reindeer biscuits. He can't drive a car. That would hurt the reindeer's feelings. And he can't fly in airplanes. That would really hurt their feelings. You don't want to see Santa flying in an airplane. He needs to fly in his sleigh. And Santa, he can't shave. No one would know him. And he can't wear a suit and tie to work. Well, maybe a red suit. Look at that suit Santa has on. We don't want to see him in a purple suit with blue stripes and a checkered vest. And look at that silly hat. We want him in that red suit that Mrs. Claus has. Santa can't quite touch his toes or do as many sit-ups as he used to. Santa can't wear Bermuda shorts and a t-shirt or sandals. Nope, no shorts for Santa, not up at the North Pole. He'd freeze. Santa can't do his best work without elves. Look at all of those elves helping Santa. And he can't wait to try out the new toys. Look at that great bicycle that Santa's riding. Santa just can't help smiling, and he can't seem to smile without his eyes twinkling. And he can't stand having an empty lap. All those kids are lined up, and I bet they're telling Santa what they want for Christmas. Santa can't chuckle or giggle or snicker. He can only ho, ho, ho. He can't pack a regular suitcase. Look at Santa's bag. It's so full and it's so big. He would never fit all of those gifts into a regular suitcase. Santa can't sleep at night. At least not on Christmas Eve. That's when he has to deliver all those presents. And he can't leave for work without a kiss and a present for someone special. There he is. He's giving Mrs. Claus a special gift. I wonder what it is. And I wonder what Mrs. Claus has in her hand for Santa. He can't come into a house the normal way. He doesn't know how doorknobs work. Nope, Santa has to come down the chimney. Santa doesn't really like fires and fireplaces. Ouch! There he is. It looks like he has some water and he's putting out that fire so he can come all the way down that chimney and stuff those stockings. He just can't seem to walk past a plate full of cookies or a glass of milk. I have a feeling that those cookies and milk are going to be gone before Santa's finished in this house. And he can't leave a single gift in his bag, even the tiniest one. I wonder what's in that little box. There are lots of things Santa can't do, lots of ways he's different. But in one way, he's just like you and me. He can't wait for Christmas. There's Santa, and he has that sign there, and it says, only 364 days until Christmas. He's already thinking about next Christmas, even though he just delivered all those presents. The end. What a great story about all of the things that Santa can't do. We have another story for you today called Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree. This is also a great story. So let's see what happens. Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree by Robert Barry. Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree came by special delivery, full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever seen. Wow, look at that great big green Christmas tree. He dashed downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he'd waited for. A magnificent tree! Splendid! He cried. Please, sir, won't you carry it right inside? Wow! That delivery man has a lot of muscles to be able to pick up that tree and carry it right inside. I think it might look best this year right in the parlor corner here. But once the tree stood in its place, Mr. Willoughby made a terrible face. The tree touched the ceiling, then bent like a bow. Oh, good heavens, he gasped. Something must go. Uh-oh. The Christmas tree is too big. It kind of looks like the Christmas trees Miss Teresa picks out for her house. The tops are always right at the ceiling. Let's see what happens. Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the top, though it seemed quite a waste. That's great, Mr. Willoughby cried with glee. Now we can start to trim my tree. When the trimming was well underway, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, I know just who'd be delighted with this Christmas tree. So it was presented to Miss Adelaide, Mr. Willoughby's upstairs maid. The perfect little Christmas tree. Won't this tree be a pretty sight when I have trimmed it later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm so afraid, will have to be cut, sighed Miss Adelaide. Uh-oh. The top of the tree is a little too big. And so with scissors, sharp and long, she snipped off the top while she hummed a song. The top was set out the very next day in the back of the house to be thrown away. Something tells me that that little top is going to be someone else's Christmas tree. And that little treetop caught the eye of Tim, the gardener, passing by. He certainly was not about to see that little tree thrown out. He hurried it right home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. Fa la la, surprise, surprise! His wife could not believe her eyes. But our house, she said, is so snug and small, I do not believe we need it at all. And before Tim had a chance to shout, she cut off the top and threw it out. Uh-oh. See what happens. There's that top of the tree. Barnaby Bear was padding by. It almost hit him in the eye. Now, who would throw a tree away so very close to Christmas Day? I'll take it home. That's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, I've a present for you. That top of the Christmas tree has gotten smaller and smaller. Let's see what the bears do with it. Isn't it a pretty tree? Yawned Mama Bear quite drowsily. Before we go to sleep this year, let's have a Christmas party, dear. Uh-oh, but look at that little tree. It's too tall. But Little Bear, standing far off, cried out, "The tree won't hold a star." Barnaby said, "Let's cut a hunk off at the bottom, here at the trunk." But Mama Bear just shook her head and sliced the treetop off instead. And we have another little Christmas tree. "Jolly by golly," Barnaby said with a kick. "Mama, that surely is just the right trick. Let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries and tinsel, and popcorn on strings." Mama Bear said, "Trim it just as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. This top we won't need anymore. I'll just put it outside the door." I think someone else is going to pick that top up. Later on that frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the treetop, rubbed his chin, opened his sack, and stuffed the top in. What is Fox going to do with that treetop? He scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present couldn't wait. "It's even better than mincemeat pie," said Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the foxes saw that their Christmas prize was just a wee bit oversized. Even though it's the tippity top of that tree, it's still a little too big. So let's see what the foxes do. "There, my dears, now don't you worry. I'll fix this top now in a hurry." And there it is, a little treetop outside waiting for this cute guy to come pick it up, I think. Benjamin Rabbit found it then, just outside the fox's den. "It seems," he thought, "most certainly that Santa left that for my family." "Look," he cried, "see the tree I found?" And with that he called his family round. Then there was a merrymaking, rollicking, frolicking, carrot shaking, celebration around the tree. All were happy as rabbits can be. There are the rabbits. They're dancing with the Christmas tree, and it looks like they each have a tasty carrot. Benjamin Rabbit, with his own hand, sliced a carrot and made a stand. Now let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook. But right away the children cried, "Look, it's leaning off to one side." "It's too small, that's all," said Mrs. Rabbit. And as though it were a summer carrot, she gave it a chop and threw away the top. This tree has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. Then Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that tiny tip of a Christmas tree. He pulled it through the snow and ice. Up some stairs, he fell down twice. At last he reached his cozy house. "It's just the right size," said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, they put a star made out of cheese. Oh, wasn't it grand to have a tree? Exactly like Mr. Willoughby. And look at where those mice live. They live right inside Mr. Willoughby's house. And their great tree is right next to Mr. Willoughby's tall tree. The end. Wasn't that great? We saw that big tree get sliced just a little bit tinier every time, and everybody got to have a Christmas tree. We have one more story for you, and it's a story with one of my favorite storybook characters. This little guy, this little mouse. And our story is called Merry Christmas, Big Hungry Bear. And you might remember this little mouse and the big hungry bear and their story about a big juicy strawberry. Let's see what our two friends have planned for Christmas. Merry Christmas, Big Hungry Bear by Dawn and Audrey Wood. Hello, little mouse. I see you're ready for Christmas. Wow, look at all of those Christmas decorations. I see Santa and streamers and ornaments and that beautiful tree and lots of presents. My goodness, what a lot of presents. Are they all for you? What do you think? Do you think all of those presents are for little mouse? But little mouse, what about the big hungry bear in the cold dark cave at the top of the hill? Uh-oh, Mouse looks a little bit worried about that bear now that we've mentioned him. Oh, how that bear loves Christmas presents. Red ones, green ones, little ones, big ones. What is Mouse doing? Is he trying to lock up all those presents with that chain? That bear would do anything to get some presents. Uh-oh. Now I think Mouse is trying to nail shut his door. Let's see if he can keep that bear out. But he never does. Nope, that bear never gets presents, not even from Santa Claus. Wow, look at what the mouse has done. He has those chains and that big lock around those presents, and he's standing on the key, and he nailed shut all of his windows and doors. And look at all of those thumbtacks all over the floor. Youch! If Bear tried to get in there, he would step on one. Uh-oh, let's see why Mouse is so sad. Boo-hoo-hoo. Every Christmas, that bear, he sits alone in his cold, dark cave, and plop, plop, plop. Tears fall from his big, hungry eyes. Little Mouse, what are you doing? I wonder what Mouse is doing. He took all the boards off his windows and doors, and he picked up all the thumbtacks, and he unlocked that lock and undid the chain. It looks like he has a Santa hat on, and he's getting dressed. Oh, I see. what a brave little mouse you are." I think Mouse is playing Santa. No one else in the whole wide world would go to the cold, dark cave of the big, hungry bear. There's brave Mouse. He's at that cave. No one ever goes there, especially on Christmas Eve. "Shh, little Mouse. Someone big is fast asleep." I think Mouse is going to decorate that tree too. "Quick, little Mouse. Someone big is waking up." Uh-oh, Mouse has to hurry. I think that bear's going to wake up. "Hide, little Mouse. Someone big is peeking." Come out, little Mouse. I see something big." Uh-oh, little Mouse is hiding, but we can still see his tail. But look at what that something big is. It's for you. Merry Christmas from the big, hungry bear. Look at that. The big, hungry bear gave Mouse a big present. And I wonder what that present is, but I don't think we're going to find out, because that is the end of our story. That was a great story. I wonder if that bear is giving Mouse a big strawberry. We'll have to wait and see if we get another storybook in this series to find out if that was a big strawberry for Mouse. And those are all the stories we have today for Storytime. I'm so glad you were able to join us. I want everyone to have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.